Hello, Los Angeles mission trip, folks. I am a fan of meetings, mostly, not really. And so the easiest way I think that I can get out the information that needs to be given out in a manner that is timely and appropriate is by doing and walking you through kind of a PowerPoint that we would do at a meeting. But it will just give you all the information that I have as of now, as of, March 19th. Here's what I have for you. Obviously, things can change, but this will kind of walk us through what that looks like. So you obviously can see my PowerPoint that's up there. And so, yes, the dates for our mission trip are July 15th, which is a Monday, through July 26th. So here is all the information I have for you. So the who's of who can attend. Anyone is welcome to join us. Obviously, mission trips are kind of catered towards our young people, but we need adults and we need those presence of those adults to kind of come alongside our youth. So anyone is welcome to attend. If a youth is under 6th grade or a child that is under 6th grade, they will actually need to be chaperoned by their either parent or guardian to kind of keep track of them. I will oversee the 7th through 12th graders, but if they're under 6th grade and would like to attend, then we will work that out as need be. The what? So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing some inner city outreach. What that looks like is distributing blankets, that is distributing water and food. We will be doing potatoes this year, tons and tons of those potatoes. And so what that will look like prior to us leaving, there will be a date and a time where we will come and wash and bag potatoes and spend hours and hours and hours here doing that prior to serving, but we will get those ready to take down with us. The fourth thing that we'll be doing is helping serve food at a rescue mission. So we'll be setting up some times where we can work with the Los Angeles Rescue Mission, Lord willing, and do a time where we can serve. So there may be some additional paperwork that will come to help us be able to actually serve, but that's something we're going to look forward to doing. We are also going to be running a vacation Bible school and or soccer camp. These details are they're not pressing at this moment because we don't know what they actually are. So Pastor Terrence, who we went and partnered with last time, who was the pastor of New Wine Church. New Wine is actually no longer in existence. And so we are going to work on partnering with another church that will run either a vacation Bible school with, or we will do a soccer camp. But I will know more details on what that looks like to come. But I just needed to get some general information out there so y'all can be planning and preparing for this mission trip. And then also the third thing that we might do is we might work on the church that houses us. So Grace Bible Church in Southgate is willing to house us. And so some work needs to be done on that church. So we may partner with them to get some of that work accomplished. So when July 15th to the 22nd, we will leave super duper early that morning, probably like 4:30 in the morning, and we will return late Monday. So where? We are staying at Grace Bible Church in Southgate. And we will be doing mission work ministry somewhere in LA. We're going to partner with a church. We have yet to decide what church we will be partnering with, but we will partner with a church to help them facilitate a vacation Bible school or a camp of some kind. So the outreach will be done on Skid Row, downtown LA, kind of where we distributed potatoes and things like that last. So here's the cost. This is the breakdown. So the cost is $150 for an adult, plus any outing expenses, which I'll go over those outings in just a bit. Then we have youth expense, which is $350. So a youth is considered a 7th through 12th grader who will be entering 7th through 12th grade in the fall. So students who have graduated this May 2019, count as a youth. They do not count as an adult. And students under the age of 6th grade in the fall must be chaperoned by an adult or a guardian, and those costs will be worked out with me. And so we'll work that cost out once I know if they're attending or not attending. So here are some expectations. So I'm going to go over youth expectations and adult expectations. So adults, you will have an expectation form. So your packet looks like this. This is your packet. It doesn't have as many pages as the youth, but you will have an expectation form. Youth, you will have one that looks just like this, except it says youth. So what you are going to do is, adults, here is kind of what we expect of you. So we expect you to begin preparing yourself spiritually for this trip by being present in Sunday school, discipleship, church. You're not in discipleship. That's funny. That's an error. Sunday school and church, 75% of each month. So 3 out of the 4 Sundays, we expect you to be at church to kind of get your fill so that you can then pour out. Prepare your testimony. Adults, this is something simple for you. Attend mandatory meetings. So if I do end up having a meeting of some kind, I expect you to be there. Raise $150. Be flexible, be flexible, be flexible. And that's super important as adults. I think it's easier for kids to adapt than I think we are adaptive at times. And so just make sure you're being flexible. One on the top right, don't be knuckleheadish. I created this word. I don't know where it came from, but don't be a knucklehead. So what that means is be a team player, come ready to serve and not be served. And if someone offends you, don't notice it. Just kind of brush it off because you are an adult and you can do that. Next one is cooperate with leadership on every level. So that being our cooks, or that being me as the youth leader, or Phil as kind of the head leader, any of those things, just cooperate with leadership during that time. Have a good attitude and be present at the stockholders dinner that tentatively is scheduled for August 3rd at 6 p.m. And then lastly, get yourself prepared mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically ready to be served. This form that is in your packet will be due to me on May 12th. So that is your due date. All right, youth, here are your expectations. So you have a lengthier packet, and yours also has this in it. So here's your expectation form that will need to be filled out and given to me by the 12th. So yours are the same as the adults. So start beginning to prepare yourself spiritually for the trip ahead by being present at Sunday school, discipleship, and church 75% of the time. So it's three out of the 4 months, or 3 out of the 4 weeks. So that means you got to get yourself to church. You got to be present at church. And then you got to begin preparing yourself physically by serving. And what you'll do is you'll provide me a form called the evidence of service form that will tell me that you're currently serving in some capacity. Then you will also need to be interviewed by me and another adult by the end of June. So you will actually need to set up a time. This is your responsibility. It's not my job to hunt you down and try to find you. This is your job to find me and say, hey, does this time work? And then we'll work from there. You will also need to prepare your testimony and submit it to Wendi by the time of your interview. So whenever your interview is set up, inside your packet, you will have a preparing your testimony section that will walk you through how to do that. And then you will just need to write something out on this blank sheet of paper that's in your packet. You also need to attend all mandatory meetings, raise $350, be flexible, have a good attitude, complete your youth release form. Even if you've already filled one out and then I have one on file somewhere in this pile of things in my office, you will need to complete that, a new one, and have it filled out for me. Listen to authority prior to the mission trip while on the mission trip, and then be present at that stockholders dinner that is tentatively scheduled for August 3rd at 6 p.m. And then obviously get yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically prepared for the mission trip. This form is due to me on the 12th. All right, so youth, attentive ears for me. Here is what I need from you specifically. I do not need these from adults because they're adults. These are what I need from you. Here's your evidence of service. I just copied this exactly from this form that is in your packet. So here's the evidence of service form. That is the exact same top. So one of the many reasons we travel to do missions is to serve. So serving should be piggyback on the service you are already doing. So our goal is to see you serve here and watch that service multiply as we head into LA. So please give me 3 areas in which you currently serve or have served during the school year, so 2018 to 2019. Each must be different. So service isn't required within the church. You don't have to do it specifically within First Baptist Church, but it just is serving, getting out of yourself and serving somewhere else. So here are some examples. It's not an extensive list. You probably have ways that you serve. So stacking chairs for Kathy, helping with the Special Olympics, tutoring, helping with kids events, church events like Kids Blast, Awanas, VBS, Harvest Party, helping with in-gathering, the Easter thing that we have coming up. The Hunt is On is a great way to get this evidence of service. So that Easter gathering, volunteering to help run a booth at that will give you lots of evidence of service. Participating in the Christmas play, volunteering in the nursery, volunteering in an elementary school classroom, or even at the junior high. If you're not a junior higher already. So this form is due to me. You'll just have to list them. You list them and you kind of tell me, hey, this is what I did, this is how much time I spent, and this is what I learned doing it. So be prepared, youth, to get that form to me. The second form you'll need is a release form. And so obviously there's nothing on this slide because it's just sitting in your packet. So it's a release form that looks just like this. You will complete it and fill it out for me. And then hand that in. I need a new one. And this one has LA Mission Trip written on top of it. So obviously a new one will be needed for just this specific trip. Then preparing your testimony. You're going to have several pages inside your packet that you are going to need to read through that walks you through like, hey, how do I create a testimony? What does that look like? How do I share my story of what God has done in my life? How do I put that together? So it walks you through like your story and his story, being ready, putting it all together. And then it asks you some questions that you can kind of be thinking about as you, on this last sheet that's blank, that I will get turned into me on the day of your interview, what it looks like, where your life is with Christ now, and what that looks like. So it will kind of get you to where you can write it out. It doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't have to be crazy long. It just needs to be, hey, what is God doing in your life? And how do you expect to, share that with other people? So youth, those are the 3 forms that are different from you than from adults. Here are outing options. Obviously, there will be lots of outings because we are in LA, and this is one of the more fluffy trips in regards to what we get to do. The outings, it may happen on a Tuesday, it may happen on a Saturday. We're not really sure tentatively where it's going to happen, but your job is to vote for one of the following. So youth, your outing costs are covered. The big outing day is covered by your fee to come on the trip. Adult, you will actually need to pay for this outing. So if you'd like to attend, I will get you the cost of what those look like. But you're going to pick one of the following. So these ones right here where it says Disneyland, California Adventures, Six Flags, or Knott's Berry Farms. So you're going to vote for one of the following. Also remember that even if it doesn't mean that your voting is going, the youth are going to vote. The youth since this trip is catered towards the youth, their preference is going to be chosen. So even if you say you choose Disneyland and all the youth pick Six Flags, we're going to be going to Six Flags. So even if I want to know your preference, it's a preference because we're going to calculate what those look like, and then we'll pick based on what the youth prefer. So additional outings, these ones down here are all the Major League Baseball games that are in the area during that time frame that we are there. These are also going to be an additional cost. Youth, this will cost you money. Adults, this will cost you money. And it all depends on if there's an adult that is willing to take you to one of these events and we don't have something that we are doing ministry-wise that will conflict. So I've listed all of the ones that are in the area during that time frame. So they're either at Angel Stadium or they're at Dodger Stadium. Those are the 2 that are in town during that time frame, and they tell you the time. Once again, mark it on your thing if you're interested in going, and if we can make it work, we'll make it work. So the tickets are anywhere from $10 to $40 depending on our seats. So that should give you kind of a general start. This is what the form actually looks like. So that's what you'll be submitting to me. And if you have any, like at the bottom, I don't know if you can see it. I can't really tell where my screen is. But if you have an additional outing or something that you would like us to consider, please write it down on the bottom, and I will be more than happy to look into that to see if that is something that is a possibility. All right, so stock and fundraising. So let's go with the fundraiser. So beginning on Palm Sunday, which is in a few weeks, you will find a bulletin board that has cards like this on it, little envelopes that have number amounts on them. We are not doing an auction this year to help raise money. We are actually just going to do a money wall. And what it will look like is you will have tons of envelopes, 1 through 134, as high as I can actually get. And what people that would like to support our trip will do is they will put that amount in. So let's just say I take this envelope. I am going to donate $134 to the mission trip. If they fill out this form on the inside that says, if you'd like a receipt for tax purposes, please fill this out. They will put this in. And then they can either hand me this envelope, they'll hand the envelopes to Wendi, or they'll put them in the offering plate. And it'll be just a way to raise funds to help support our trip. So that's one of the ways in which your friends and family can help support you in the trip. The second way, this will go to the pot, like the whole money pot. This will help us do like our outreaches and provide blankets and do food and all of those things. This does not go towards you. This goes towards the whole group that is headed. So every single missionary all together, it just goes towards the mission. Then if you are an individual missionary and you are wanting to do something, you can sell stock. So stock is basically I am purchasing stock in to the mission trip so that I can support it financially, however amount. So what this looks like is this is a stock certificate. I don't know how close it is to the screen, so we'll see. You will go ahead and put in who it's from. So let's just say I sold this to my mom. I would then write my mom's name in here from Wendi Densley, and I sold it for the amount of $10. Okay. That is the front form. You fill that out. You're going to probably get asked questions about the mission trip, so be prepared to answer those questions. Oh, adults, you can also sell stock if you are interested. Then the back part just says, hey, this certifies that this person can go to the stockholders dinner, and it will be on August 3rd at 6 p.m. Where they're going to hear testimonies and know what's going on. In addition to receiving a stack of these papers, you will also receive a tracking sheet. So youth, I want you to, or adults, I want you to track who you purchase it from. So here's an example. So let's just say someone came up and asked if I could buy stock. So I purchased stock. Here's my cell phone number. I purchased it for $10. I wrote this check number. You're going to track all of them so that you can then in turn send thank yous to these people when we get home that say, hey, thanks for sponsoring our trip. We really appreciate you being beneficial. It also gives me an idea on how many people I can expect for the stockholders dinner. So if you decide to sell stock, this is the best way to do it. We highly encourage you to do so. So that is stock and fundraising. Here are some important dates that you just need to put in the kind of the back of your mind. So on May 12th, this is a big day, I will need a $30 deposit from anyone who is planning on attending, adults or youth. And I will also need their forms completed. So I will need 3 forms for the youth. On the bottom in the packet, on the bottom of this little thing that will say Youth Packet Form 1, Youth Packet Form 2, Youth Packet Form 3, and Youth Packet Form 4. So I will need 3 different forms from the youth, which means I will need their expectation form. They will sign and say, hey, I'm going to follow these expectations. The second one is I will need your evidence of service, and I will need your outings options. So those are the 3 forms that I need on the 12th. You will also, youth, need to set up an interview sometime with me and another adult before the end of June. And at that time, you will turn in your testimony form. So then that means I will have all the forms that are in your packet. Adult, you have 2 forms that I need. All I need from you is your expectation form, which says Form 1, and your options outing 1 for me. That's all I'll need from you. Then another thing to put on your calendar, August 3rd, we will have a stockholders dinner at 6 p.m. So that is all I have for you. If you have any other questions that I have not covered during this time frame, please feel free to ask away later. I will happily get you some information that you need at that time. These packets will be available on Sunday. So if you are interested and want these packets, I will have them available for you Sunday, March 24th. Come and grab them out of my office, or I will have them set up on a table out in the foyer. I will also have stock certificates available at that time that you can take if you're interested in selling stock. And I can always make more as needed. So once again, if you have any other questions, feel free to call me, text me, email me, do whatever you need to do to get a hold of me. Thanks so much, guys. Can't wait to do this trip with you.